doing some hamstring curls. When you're doing this exercise, make sure you're pushing your hips into the pad and then you're curling around it. So something I like to kind of visualize is a kind of like a scorpion tail. Keep your kind of quads tucked the top of your hips, pressed against the pad. Don't let it come up, and then curl around it. Let that be your point. You'll essentially squeeze the glutes into it, and then curl. One thing you want to do, guys, keep in mind is whatever weight you're doing, if hypertrophy or getting bigger is your goal, then I would highly recommend going a little bit on the lighter to moderate side. Not so much lighter, but more moderate on the weight, and slowing down your tempo, just holding the contractions, slowly coming down on the eccentrics. Stimulate your muscle. It's not all about how much weight you can lift. You just want to essentially, how can I tax my muscle as much as possible? If you're doing a certain weight, it's pretty heavy, you feel it more in like your insertions or your ligaments, you don't really feel the muscle building too much, I'd probably lighten the load a little bit, and then focus on the squeeze and just concentrate on every rep. Okay, right here, guys, we're going to do a variation of a kind of an RDL, but on a Roman chair. I like using this because it gives us the ability to push something against it and really leverage our hamstrings to keep them under load, that tension. Alrighty. A lot of it too, guys, if you notice, I was kind of adjusting that plate. I was adjusting it to see which placement I would feel it more in my hamstrings. As stupid as it sounds, it can make a difference as far as how forward, how back it is. So again, when you're on a certain exercise and you have the ability and you feel comfortable doing it, I definitely recommend doing it under a lighter weight. Play with certain movements, play with certain adjustments, see what you feel the most. And then one thing I forgot to mention, guys, is on these is make sure we're not hyperextending our back. In fact, our spine is staying kind of downward, and all we're doing is pushing our hips into the pad, pushing our Achilles against the pads as well. That motion in itself is gonna kind of lift your upper body up, but I'm not extending my back to where it's gonna feel my lower back. And a little bit of tightness is fine, but if this is unbearable in your lower back, either one, you're going too heavy, two, you're not firing your hamstrings and glutes hard enough, or three, you're doing it incorrectly. Seated leg curl. So a lot of times we've been taught to lean forward, overextend our back, keep it straight to kind of get that stretch a little bit better, which makes sense. But I like to show people a little different way that I just kind of discovered one day and it really worked well. Helped me activate more my, I can't really say activate more, but I somehow felt it more up in the upper hamstring, glute ham thigh area, which is a problem area for most of us. So what I do is I actually kind of lean back on it where I extend my arms. And then from there, I actually let my butt come off the seat and I push my quads against the pad up there. As my quads are being pushed against that pad and my butt's coming off the seat, I then curl around it. And again, as mentioned earlier, like a scorpion tail, that's gonna kind of create that motion and get it all the way up to that glute ham. So here we go. When you're doing these bridges, you want to make sure that you are at the very top motion of it, tucking your pelvis. So if you have your tailbone on a bridge and you're going down, you want your tailbone to essentially curl up. That's what you call a pelvic tilt. Instead of overextending your back, a lot of times you might feel your lower back on bridges. And again, it's almost inevitable no matter if you do a pelvic tilt, but the pelvic tilt will help put more pressure on the glutes and help protect your back. And again, you'll find yourself lifting lighter and focusing on that squeeze.